Jai Sri Ram. Welcome, friends. Welcome, Dr. Adityanjee. Thank you for joining Bharat Marg. Want to say thank you to everybody. It's going to be an incredible day, folks. You know what? People went out and voted in maximum number. That's what it is all about. And congratulations to each one of us. Okay. And Modi wins huge. Exit poll. America, Canada gets a bitter pill. It's a question mark or whatever you want to put there. That's up to you. But let's ask Dr. Adityanjee, who is the specialist on foreign policies and geopolitical expert. Friends, we are very lucky to have him. Let us ask that question. But before going further, friends, please make sure to like the video, comment on the video, share the video with as many people as you can. And also, friends, if you didn't subscribe yet, please do subscribe for Bharat Mark channel and press the notification bell so that you get notified as we go live. Okay. And also, friends, we do teach Sanskrit for free. You can enroll, because understand, if there is no Sanskrit, there is no Sanskriti, there is no Sanatan, or there is no Bharat. You have to understand that. And we do take pilgrimage, custom pilgrimage, luxury trips where senior citizens and special need people can come. And we also do Godan, taking and giving both. Okay. So if you want to donate Gau, or if you want to receive a Gaudan, you can contact us. Okay. And for Gau Seva, and also, friends, we do Havan, Puja, all those things. And also, we send out one dharmic message every day. Okay. One dharmic message every day. And you can just send us a WhatsApp and get subscribed. Okay. And it's a free service. And we do a lot of things. If you like what we are doing, please, friends, go ahead and support us by sharing this video. And also, please donate us, because we need your help. Okay. For keeping it going forward. Okay. So please do donate us and help us. Okay. Dr. Adityanjee, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. Uh,
Thank you very much, Sundar Bhai.
yeah, congratulations to each one of us. It's an incredible, because it's a victory of democracy. Okay. In fact, we will celebrate it more on fourth evening.
It's a victory of democracy. It's also victory of patriotism in Bharat,
Absolutely.
because there were efforts to influence the elections through open AI sources and through foreign funding. And some foreign media did try to influence by doing a selective critique of government and ruling party. So I think in that sense, it is victory of pro-Bharat forces.
Absolutely, absolutely, Dr. Adityanji, how do you see? Okay, uh, Bharat, they tried a bit. From White House, they tried their best. And from Canada, they were giving space for the terrorist elements, and they tried their best with all those things. But how do you see this? Will this act as a bitter pill for them, or they will get better?
So I have somewhat wider view, because uh, the world does not just consist of Canada and United States.
Absolutely. But yeah,
So
but the best, what I mean to say, yeah.
uh, I think the situation would be that with a third term government,
Hmm.
with an experienced foreign policy team,
Hmm.
uh, Bharat would be on a sure footed pathway.
Hmm.
In first term, there were some issues, but now the foreign policy team and the administration and the leader himself are much more experienced,
Hmm.
having governed at the national level, having the international experience, and that will give more clout to Bharat on international arena, in
Hmm.
influencing foreign policy, in influencing international relations,
Absolutely.
because of the continuity of the government and the policies.
Hmm.
So I can tell you, definitely there's a country north of India that
Hmm.
will try to swallow a bitter pill, and that is China.
Yeah, of course, China. Of course, China.
That's why I'm saying that, we should not just focus on Canada and US.
Right.
China will have to swallow a bitter pill
Hmm.
because China was interfering using OpenAI sources. China had this hotline with Mr. Rahul Gandhi.
Hmm.
If you remember, in 2008, Mr. Xi Jinping, the current Chinese dictator,
Hmm.
and Rahul Gandhi had signed a memorandum of understanding whose content nobody knows.
Right.
So China would be the first country that will swallow a bitter pill.
Hmm.
With Canada, it will be a mixed relationship. If Justin Trudeau stays,
No, Justin Trudeau, yeah, we will send him home. 17% approval rating. That's
yeah,
another thing, Dr. Saab.
that's what I'm saying, that Bharat does not want bad relations with Canada.
Uh-huh.
The Canadian leader currently, Justin Trudeau, is hell bent
Uh-huh.
on spoiling the relationship because he caters to the vote bank politics.
Right.
If the conservative government comes in Canada, there's a chance that Indo-Canadian relationship will improve. It has,
Absolutely.
it has worsened to the bottom.
Absolutely. Dr. Sab, I just have one more question to you, if you can add that also in your mix of answer. That is, you see the Western leaders who cannot even win an election, okay, weak, okay, in many of the countries. Whereas here is a leader in Narendra Modi, in Bharat, who goes from one term to other term, increases the people's love, affection, and the vote base. How do you see that, and what kind of impact it will have on it,
This
please?
is what I'm saying, that the government being in third term, the same government being in third term,
Hmm.
will have definite influence and be a positive influence in India's foreign policy, because foreign policy cannot be dissociated with domestic situation. Now you see that in 2014, India's GDP was the 10th largest.
Hmm.
Right now, India's
2014, yep. Right back then.
now we are the fifth largest.
Yes.
India is supposed to displace Japan in 2025 by IMF projections. These are not Indian projections, these are IMF projections, becoming the fourth largest economy.
Hmm.
And come 2026, 2027, India's economy, GDP, in terms of nominal terms, nominal dollar terms, would be third largest in the world.
Absolutely.
Why? Because of the domestic policies, Make in India, self-reliance, Atmanirbhar Bharat, all those kind of things, rooting out corruption in defense, acquisitions, uh, supporting and encouraging defense equipment export. All these things have an influence on the strength of the foreign policy.
Absolutely.
It's not just the economy, but during COVID time, India supplied vaccines
Right.
to more than 100 countries
Absolutely.
when nations like United States refused to do so.
And they didn't even consider the African part of the world as a human being.
Yes. And China apparently bribed the WHO director, in the re-election process, and China managed to maneuver to get Chinese Sinopharm vaccines, which had very poor effectiveness. So Indian vaccines were appreciated by the rest of the world under Vaccine Maitri Abhiyan. So all these things are going to help, India's international posture. In Papua New Guinea, the president tried to touch the feet of Mr. Modi.
Absolutely. Means,
India managed to
I,
get
I believe I
UAE.
believe Dr. Adityanjee, people in India will think it is a huge thing, but what I have realized, I'm sure you can witness for it. Most of the Indians do teaching job in Africa, and when the people see Indians, they remember of their teacher. We have a pretty good relationship with black and us. We have a more cultural relationship, Africa.
Well, and India managed to get African Union a seat
Hmm.
on G20.
Absolutely.
India's commitment to Africa is unconditional. It's
And
not,
sabke saath, sabke vikas.
and it's not like China that they try to entrap that into BRI debt trap.
Right,
And wherever Chinese go, they send their workers and engineers. Locals are not given employment.
right,
And then there is a very serious concern in Africa that all these Chinese single person males come, they marry local African women, and they try to increase the Chinese influence that way. But looking at the foreign policy in the third term, there are likely to be some you know minute changes. One thing
yeah,
would be that United States will have to work with India because US needs India much more than India needs US. Let me very frank about it. It's not a lazy expression, it's a reality.
true.
United States is itself having huge amount of foreign debt. In fact, India's foreign exchange reserves are much higher than US exchange reserves, or for that matter, Russia's foreign exchange reserves. Uh, India recently repatriated, I think, 100
Hmm.
tons of gold from Bank of England that was being kept there since 1991. This is telling you the self-confidence of the country. And more
Right.
gold is likely to be brought back to India and kept in Reserve Bank of India's vaults rather than Bank of England's vaults. So there's a term which is used in international relations. It was popularized. It's a metric called comprehensive national power. As India, in Hindi, we will call it Vistrit Rashtriya Shakti.
Hmm.
It's a metric which takes into consideration number of indices. You know, it takes into consideration the GDP, the population, technological advancement,
Hmm.
in order, everything.
Hmm. Hmm.
So still now, US is number one, China is number two. By some calculations, India's comprehensive national power is at seventh or eighth place. Some of them say fourth or fifth place. But what you're seeing is that India is witnessing a tremendous increase in comprehensive national power. That takes into consideration the soft power also.
Hmm.
And as the comprehensive national power increases, so would be India's footprint in the international arena.
Absolutely.
India will become more and more important player in the Indo-Pacific region.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Adityanjee, I have one question if you can answer this also in your process. Here is a leader who has got almost like a huge lion's share of the 543 seats or whatever, right? 400 crossing and becoming a prime minister. What kind of muscle it gives for him in the international arena, if you can cover that also?
So when you have a strong government in a democracy, strong mandate, it speaks for itself. When you don't have a strong mandate, people just try to ride over you. And we saw what had happened in the past from, let's say, 1989 to 1998 when there were series of weak governments.
Hmm.
I must say that around 1994, 1995, when PV Narasimha Rao was the prime minister, United States had actually threatened, Bill Clinton had threatened India because they came to find out that PV Narasimha Rao was trying to do nuclear tests. So under US pressure, those were shelved.
Hmm.
Of course, they were done in 1998 under a BJP government, which was still a coalition government, but that was their, election manifesto that they will convert India into a de facto and de jure nuclear power, and they
Mhm,
kept their
mhm.
electoral promises. So the point I'm trying to make that when you have more than two-third majority or almost like
Super
three-fourth,
majority.
yeah, super majority, that counts. The government is not going to be afraid of international pressure or international sanctions because Western countries always throw that thing as a kind of, carrot and stick approach. But I'm taking a much more wider worldview, and I can tell you that it will also have some impact on our relationship with Russia.
Mhm,
Russia is becoming a de facto junior partner of China,
mhm.
and that's not good for India.
Right.
Although the relationship with Russia will not worsen, but India will diversify much more. Because if Russia is providing S 500 and S 400 to China, and we have S 400, what is the effectiveness of this, ballistic missile shield if China knows the technology?
Right.
So, in that sense, you will see that more domestic outsourcing will be done. India will, try to make its own ballistic missile deterrence. You will see that India's navy will get stronger. There's already a talk about third aircraft carrier formation, battle group, possibly more funding for nuclear powered submarines. So you will see a strong India projecting a confident foot in the international arena, and there will be a stern message to China that you behave with India. You don't try to tread on our toes like they did in Galwan. India is not the India of 1962. In a sense, India's foreign policy would be very much supportive of India's growth and rise, and will be more assertive, will carry more weight in various global forums.
Absolutely. Dr. Adityanjee, Dr. Adityanjee, the interview cannot get full if I don't ask this question. What kind of change you are looking at Indian rupee getting globalized in the third term, basically, also?
Indian rupee is already becoming, I won't say globalized, but more widely accepted internationally. Our rupee system and UPI interface is also getting international acceptance. And Reserve Bank of India is opening Vostro accounts for foreign countries where international trade can be done in rupee terms rather than in dollar terms. That is already being done. And the number of countries that are doing that is increasing day by day. So we will continue to see this as a trend showing more confident India economically. Now, United States has not served its own interest by putting sanctions at the whim of every president, and in that process, rest of the world is trying to find rest of the non-Western world is trying to find out ways by which you can still do international commerce without the threat of unilateral sanctions from United States and its allies. Of course, India will continue to buy oil from Russia. India will continue to engage with Iran despite the CAATSA threat of CAATSA sanctions. So, who would be the loser? It will not be India because India is now the largest market.
Absolutely.
It is a country with the largest population, with a strong, growing middle class. As more and more people are pulled out of poverty, below poverty line, you have an increasingly prosperous, increasingly educated, increasingly, you know, affluent middle class with this, discretional purchasing power, which goes on luxury and comfort goods. More and more Indians are taking foreign vacations, going for tourism, and they go to countries like Singapore or Dubai or wherever. They spend a lot of money on buying consumer goods and things like that. So it is in the interest of a lot of countries to trade with India in rupee terms. Having said that, yes, Indian rupee is not going to become a global currency like dollar
At least overnight.
overnight. It's a long process and it has pros and cons, and you need a whole system to back up an international currency. But let me assure you that yuan or renminbi is not going to become the international currency as China was hoping. And I can tell you, with this third term win, a BRICS currency is going to be a
Reality.
no, not reality,
Not reality.
dead on arrival, because BRICS currency means yuan becoming globalized. And that's not in India's interest. So, with one regional country at a time, you will do rupee trade and use the, rupee Vostro accounts and use the rupee, and UPI interface systems.
And Dr. Adityanjee, one final question on this aspect for you. That is, India brought the gold back not only because it wanted to bring back, because the West literally seized the assets of Russia on the day the conflict came.
Yeah.
So do you think they will empty the whole thing, assets from like gold from,
Why not? Why not? When
and they
it's,
had to pay rent for it too to keep it
uh,
there.
look, India has already displaced UK. By becoming the fifth largest economy, it used to be UK. Now it is India. So why should we keep our, gold reserves in Bank of England?
Mhm.
Can't we trust our Reserve Bank of India, when we have a strong government, strong law and order situation, and increasingly economic prosperity, economy is rising. There's no reason to keep gold in Bank of England.
Absolutely, absolutely. And do you think in this third term, Dr. Adityanji, India will become in Modi ji's leadership, will become the world negotiator also for peace?
I would not put too much of emphasis on that because world is a very complex problem.
Mhm.
If we say that in every bilateral dispute India should poke its nose, I don't think that is in India's
Or
interest.
they will be invited to.
They may be invited. I don't think it serves India's interest to try to negotiate peace between Israel and the Arab faction.
Let them fight it out and
Let
come
them
to the
fight it
table.
out. It does not help us because the stated goal of the Arab Muslim minority is wiping out the state of Israel. They are not, no negotiations are going to succeed there.
Mhm.
Similarly, if you think that India can intervene and broker peace between Ukraine and Russia, high hopes. And I'll tell you why. One of the Russian diplomats described, and not very many people know about it, he was, I am forgetting the name, he was Russian ambassador to India in 2022 when this conflict became hot. He said, Ukraine is to Russian Federation what Pakistan is to India. Okay.
Mhm.
India got partitioned in 1947. India Pakistan have been at loggerheads, sworn enemies since that time. Any attempts to normalize the relationship with Pakistan has backfired
Mhm.
because the West has co opted Pakistan as its own ally historically. Similarly, on the same pattern, the West has co opted Ukraine. So, For anyone to think that they can broker peace between these two countries, I think is a basically high hobby horse, because West is not going to be satisfied till they have NATO expansion at Russia's doorstep,
Absolutely.
which created the problem.
Absolutely.
And Russia is highly nationalistic at this point in time. Russia is not going to return Crimea to Ukraine.
Hmm.
So there's no way you can have reconciliation between these two countries. There may be cold peace, but there will not be real peace.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So for India to try to poke its nose in the hostile relationship between Ukraine and Russia, or Israel and so-called Palestinian state or Palestinian population, does not serve our interests. We need to focus more on domestic reforms, growing domestic economy, because from growing domestic economy comes our clout in the international arena.
Absolutely. My final question to you, Dr. Adityanjee, how do you think this what do you call this election result, keeping the exit poll in mind, there's an exit poll, but giving a super majority to Modi government, how the what kind of demands the diaspora is expected to put on the White House? Will they let them play like what they are doing, double game and things like that?
Well, the diaspora is not a unified entity, if you understand. Diaspora is very much divided. Diaspora also has people who vouch for Khalistan and are taking consistently anti.
Patriotic diaspora, let's put it this way.
Uh, Diaspora also includes people who considered United States as doyen of Christian world, and they advocate actually US interference in India's
Manipur.
domestic
Yep.
relationship about certain issues. You know that US is making noises about the Manipur issue and all, because the Kuki militants are supposedly Christian. The USCRIF, part of diaspora, actually is in cahoots with USCRF. So I would say that diaspora should not be given due any more weightage and importance by the government of India, uh, and government of India should closely focus on its own issues rather than get enmeshed and entrapped into diaspora's machinations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Adityanji. Thank you for coming in and joining us. After this super exciting exit poll, I want to congratulate each one of the citizens of Bharat. It's a great, great show of democracy, and congratulations to each one. And looking forward to having Adityanji again back after the result officially declared. Okay, I'm saying you folks, I'm super excited. Comment and let us know how do you feel. Do you agree with the Dr. Adityanji? You have any questions that need to be covered on next show? Please do post it in the comment area. We would love to hear from you. Dr. Adityanji, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dileepan, and thank you very much, Bharat Mag. It's always a pleasure to come on a nationalistic, patriotic forum like
Absolutely.
Bharat Mag and see and view things from a different angle.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And looking forward to seeing you again, Dr. Adityanji. Jai Sri Krishna. Jai Sri Krishna, friends. Have a fantastic time. See you in the next